Hi peeps, how you doing? It's old fucking fuck you Santa back again, right? Bad Santa. I'm not bad Santa. I'm the good Santa. The guy trying to make you fucking believe bullshit is the bad Santa, right? Just like, you know, when you listen to crap on the TV or you watch some crappy fucking blog somewhere on the internet, you know, it's like, yeah, that totally sounds real. Oh, I totally believe that because you already have been brainwashed to believe that fucked up, retarded crap, right? I'm not saying this is a factual podcast or no video. These are just my opinions. These are just my thoughts. These are just my commentary on life. So here we are. My commentary on life. This was a video I just watched on water quality. Erin Brockovich. Yeah, I'm sure many of you have seen the movie, but this is the actual Erin Brockovich, not the woman who acted her in the movie, talking to Jim Jeffries and his cohorts. On the podcast show. I don't know about that, but anyway, right. So let's hear her leaving comments, and then I'll do something else. I'll find something else.
Closing things. That's what it was. Yeah, I mean.
Look, we're just at a place. I go back to my Wizard of Oz story all the time, not the movie, but L. Frank Baum and why he wrote the Wizard of Oz. You should read up on it because there's a whole political allegory. But the moment where, the Wicked Witch puts them to sleep in the poppy fields. And sometimes I wonder or worry that somehow we got comfortable, complacent, or under assumption or bought an illusion we got put to sleep. I think we're watching a wake-up moment, all of us. And that's what I want all of us to do, is not assume and not get comfortable or complacent that someone's got your back. We need to turn to ourselves and get involved ourselves. That is, I feel, a duty and obligation that all of us have to re-engage and get involved and assume nothing. And Superman's not coming shouldn't make you feel bad. It should make you feel empowered. Let's stop waiting for something from the top to trickle down magically and fucking change our lives. Because I think we know that's not going to happen. The change will happen with you. And that's what I want people to know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Erin Brockovich, man. What a guest. It's very exciting.
I was so excited, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever at a party, someone offers you a glass... someone offers you a glass of water, go, I don't know about that. See you next week.
Don't invite her, and boy howdy, give her a vodka or two, she will never shut up. So.
I've got to say, Erin Brockovich looks like a smart and intelligent version of, what's that Alaskan woman that, what's his name? He's dead now. The Republican senator who ran for president, got the nomination, and then asked the Alaskan crazy woman from hell to become his VP running mate against Barack Obama. Yeah, Barack Obama. What is it? John military hero. What's your goddamn name? Goddamn. I'm sure you know who I mean, right? But let's just go and McCain, John McCain, right? Oh, this is how we're going to Google it. John McCain, running mate. John McCain running mate. Right? Let me put my whiskey out the way so I don't fucking spell it. John McCain. What's the crazy? What? Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin. What the?
It is possible that the general.
Shut the fuck up. Right. Let me just go back here. Just look. Does she not look like a more intelligent, smarter, more beautiful looking, more intelligent, more sort of for the people, they did ask her during this interview when they were talking to her. They did ask her if she ever wanted to go into politics, and I think she had a very good answer for that. Can't remember what it was, but yeah, I think she said something like she'd rather do something. She would rather spend her energy to do something that works, or do something you know what I mean. She'd rather be effective. You know what I mean. She'd rather do something effective than be a politician. Something like that. I think she said. But anyway, yeah, fucking wonderful woman. Absolutely.
And that's what I want people to know.
Yeah, that's what I want people to know. Sarah Palin was a fucking crazy person. She's still a crazy person. She's still fucking making videos and posting like, look at my house, look at my yard, look at this. This is a fantastic yard. This is what. Yeah. We fucking get you. You're crazy. You're fucked up, and you think God's going to fix everything, but then Erin Brockovich is releasing a book, Don't Expect Superman, or Don't Wait for Superman, or something like that, right? Look it up. Just Google Erin Brockovich's new book. You'll find it. Yeah, but, she's actually going out there, she's talking to people, they're organising and getting things done. They're not out there shouting, let's just pray to God, let's just hope Jesus comes and saves us. They're actually going out and doing something for the community that fixes things. You know what I mean? Fantastic. Anyway, Trump's IQ. Let's have a look at Trump's IQ. We'll get rid of that. Been there, done that. Trump's IQ.
General election might come down to people's perception of the mental competence of the major party candidates, and Donald Trump wants to get out in front of that comparison. Arguably, he's been doing it his entire life, but here's what he had to say in his interview with Sean Hannity last night.
Oh, Sean Hannity. What an absolute genius. What an absolute intellectual fucking genius. He's obviously in the cut of Trump. What was it that Trump says? A functioning genius? I'm a functioning genius. Something like that, anyway. I'm sure this is going to be tremendous. This is going to be absolutely, spot on. Oh, he's definitely a genius, whatever it says.
And do you think he's trying to back out of debating you?
Well, yeah, the answer is yes, absolutely. But, he meant the COVID test. The COVID test. He didn't mean cognitive. He meant COVID.
No, he said cognitive.
No. What the fuck is Trump about? The COVID test? The COVID test just tests whether your body has been invaded by an organism. It doesn't test anything to do with your intelligence, Mr. Trump. But then Trump is so... I don't know what happened to this guy's brain. This is just my opinion, right? This is my comment on what he's just said there. He wasn't talking about a cognitive test. He was talking about a COVID test. And even... one of the worst, stupidest people on Fox News had to correct him. No, he was talking about a cognitive test, Mr. President, not a COVID test. Oh, God, my goodness. Does anybody else see the fucking difference here between, people with cognitive fucking disability, like Trump, and people who are cognitively astute? You know what I mean? Cognitively astute.
I'm pretty sure he went on
he didn't mean that because, you don't have those tests that often. He said, I take them all the time. And no, he meant COVID, but I think he was confused by the question and the...
No, he didn't say he has them all the time. I don't think that Joe Biden says that he has cognitive tests all the time. And I don't think he meant COVID tests all the time. And comparing that to, well, I passed all these COVID tests and therefore I'm cognitively, superior to Donald Trump. I don't think that's what it was about. But Donald Trump seems to think, well, I get COVID tests all the time and I passed one cognitive test once where I was able to identify an elephant and a lion, so, I win. Really?
The words and everything else. He didn't mean that because he hasn't taken any cognitive tests because he couldn't pass one. I actually...
what, people, person, man, woman, TV, camera. Oh, I'm sure that, oh, goddamn.
I took one when I very recently when I was, you know, the radical left was saying, "Is he all there? Is he all there?" And I proved I was all there because I aced it. I aced the test.
What the hell? If you have got perfect cognitive abilities and understand that these are just people on the internet, YouTube, you know what I mean? Twitter, whatever, you know, Reddit. You know, why would you even respond to them? If you're the president of America, why would you even think you need to respond to people telling you that you're stupid? If you're the president of America, you're the fucking president. You don't have to go out and answer these questions. You don't have to punch down, Mr. President, at some, like, you know, YouTuber or blogger. You know what I mean? Like, you are dealing with world leaders, supposedly, and you're taking your time out to, like, go after some podcaster, some YouTuber. Really? That's how much you feel that you have to defend yourself. Anybody that says anything against me, I've got to go to them, destroy them. You know, really?
And he should take the same exact test, a very standard test.
The thing is, there isn't any exact test. The reason for these tests being random and having multiple different questions that they can say, well, we're going to ask you these 10 out of this 1,000 questions, is because you could be telling Biden the answers. I know you wouldn't, Donald, but people do that, and therefore they don't ask the exact same questions with the exact same answers. They ask questions that are in the same category that test your activity, you know, your ability to understand and comprehend knowledge. That's what they do. It's like an IQ test, Mr. President. Not all IQ tests have the same questions, but they have the same amount of questions in certain categories. You know, you have to, you know, look at certain shapes, you have to compare shapes, you have to pick out the one that doesn't match, you have to match the two that does match. You know what I mean? These things, this is cognitive ability, to be able to look at different questions, right, and be able to see that, oh, this is the same kind of question that I've answered before, so now I know how to answer it, and now, oh yeah, now I've got that. Yeah, it's like, god damn, does he understand how brains work? Apparently not. I mean, I don't even know if he's got a fucking brain, this prick.
I took it at Walter Reed Medical Center in front of doctors.
Doesn't matter where you take it. It doesn't matter where you take it, so long as you don't cheat. I mean, if you actually want to find out what your IQ is, you can do an internet IQ. You know what I mean? You can go on the internet, there'll be an IQ test. They're not expecting you to, like, you know, ace it. They're expecting you to give, like, a normal result and fall in categories of, like, you know, top 5%, top 90%, top 8%, you know, top 70, top 60, something. You know what I mean? That's what happens with IQ tests, you know what I mean? And you can do multiples of them. You can do one a week, you can do one a day, you can do one an hour. Because I think they take about 40 minutes an IQ test. Yeah, you could do one an hour. And probably over a period of time, you will probably see your ability to you know, answer correctly and get better results. It will probably go up if you're doing an IQ test once or twice a day. You will probably see a slight increase in your IQ average, you know, quota, or your IQ quota over a period of time. You're probably never going to go from like a 120 or 130, which is around about my average. I think I think I'm an average. 120, 130 is probably average, especially when you're drunk or stoned. Although I must admit, one time when I was really, really fucked up, I got an 84. that was worrying. But considering I was doing that on, like, oh, what, LSD and alcohol and puff, you know what I mean, cannabis, it's not surprising that I probably got the worst scored when I was the most fucked up. But it's things like that show you that these things, certain things you do in your life do affect your ability to comprehend what the hell is going on in the real world. Because you're interacting with the real world when you're doing stuff like that. So yeah, when you're doing it straight, when you're doing it sober, I don't mean straight, so I'm talking about straight, sober, you will gain a several amount of points. You can go from like a 125 to 128 in just 2 tests, you know what I mean? And then you can drop five points because you haven't done one for 3 days, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is a very fucking amusing thing. If you're 70, between 17 and 20, right? If you're between 17 and 20, please do that. Go and find yourself a website where you can do an IQ test and do 1 or 2 a week, right? And then don't do any for 2 or 3 weeks and then go and do 1 or 2 a week. You know what I mean? And I tell you, you'll find that when you've not done them for a while and you've been doing other things and stuff like that and going out drinking and all that, and then you come back, you do that IQ, you'll find, you know what, yeah, I can see that 2 or 3 weeks I was doing them, 2 or 3 a week. No, do it a month or 2 or 3 a week and then take a month off and then do it. And you'll see that it goes up and then you will get a flat line and then it'll drop over the month and you'll start again and you might be a point or so above your first bit, but it will go up and then take another break for a month or even 2 months, 3 months and then go back and watch how your score goes up and down and up and down, depending on how many tests. I'm telling you, it's fucking amazing. The human brain is fucking brilliant. See that old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. It is fucking absolutely true in everything. That's why when you get like footballers, they don't just take the fucking summer off and go on holiday and fuck off. No, they're doing summer camp, they're coming in, they're training, they're doing all that shit. They've got to keep themselves doing it every fucking day, every day. If they're not doing it every fucking day, yeah, if you take a year off, I'm going to take a sabbatical, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm the best quarterback in fucking America, but I'm going to take a year off. You know what I mean? I'm going to let them have number 2 play for this season, and I'm going to go away, and then I'm going to come back. You know what? You're going to be fucked. You're not going to be as good. You know what I mean? But the world is fucking fantastic, and it will slap you across the face with fucking facts and truth if you're fucking willing to fucking pay attention to it. I'm just saying, right?
And they were very surprised. They said that's an unbelievable thing. Rarely does anybody do what you just did, but he should take that.
How many times has Trump said that about nobody as good at me as me at doing these things? Everybody who looked at me was saying, nobody's ever done that, Mr. And it's like, obviously people have done this better than you. Obviously people must have done this better than you. You know what I mean? You're not the only person to have done it. You know what I mean? Oh my God, the ridiculousness of the statements of this man.
But
then they gave me a lollipop. They let me pick 1 toy from the saddlebags.
Any
and
toy?
They sent me yes, and I got 2 toys. One was small. It's one I can't quite. It's a paddle game, so I can play with myself.
That's a tough one. So that is Donald Trump once again talking about the cognitive test that he supposedly
Let's face it, right? This cognitive test is a test that, like for instance, my mum recently had she had something happen to her. Right? She went down to the caravan with my dad. And after the weekend, my sister went down because there was something weird. They weren't answering their phones. So my sister went down, found them sitting in the house. They had actually, both of them, my mum and dad, had misused their credit card, their debit cards. They'd put in 3 times the wrong PIN number. So something went wrong. They couldn't remember the PIN number. They were running out of food and they were just sitting in a caravan. They hadn't phoned anybody, they hadn't phoned me to say, James, we're confused, right? Because they were confused, right? So anyway, right, so my mum was confused, and my father's recovered better. My mum, we put her through a MRI. She's got hardening of the arteries in her brain, so she's losing her cognitive ability. She's not got like Alzheimer's or Hodgkin's disease or Hodgkin's disease. She's not getting that. It's just old age, hardening arteries in the brain. She's lost some memories, short term memory, stuff like that has been damaged. So I've got to pay attention to my mum, right? But I mean, Donald Trump seems to be having these problems. He doesn't seem to be able to remember anything he said, from one fucking, session to the next. And he says he would never use, monitors to read script, but he's doing it now. Why? Yeah, because his brain can't remember. I think at 70 years old, my mum's fucking 86, right? My mum's 86. I can understand her having memory problems at that age, She's still a fit woman physically, but mentally, there's a small deterioration there. But she's perfect fine. She still remembers me. It's not like I walk into the room and she doesn't know me. So it's not like that. But memories, how long she's lived in this house, that sort of thing, So yeah. But Donald Trump, I mean, fuck me. He can't remember what he said 30 seconds ago. He says something, and then people say to him, "Oh, well, what did you say?" And then he said, "Oh, I never says that." He's on camera saying it, and he can't remember he fucking said it. So it's like ridiculously comical, but worrying. He's the president of fucking America. You know what I mean? That's worrying if the president of America is having those kind of problems. I mean, I don't know why someone hasn't come forward and says, he's unfit to hold office. If you can't remember one thing you said from fucking 30 seconds ago, that is fucking worrying. What if he's on a conversation with some world leader that they're having problems with, and he's made an agreement of how they can solve their problems, and then 30 seconds later forgets he agreed to that, and then he starts another argument with that leader of another country. I mean, my God, this could be fucking devastating to the world. Not just fucking America and the countries arguing me, but the world, you know what I mean? Fuck me.
Supposedly took a couple years ago and supposedly aced. And I will say, let's assume he actually aced it. I'll do that.
Yeah, it's just a question. They ask a question just to try and understand. It's like when you go to a psychiatrist's appointment, right? And you're saying, I'm having problems with memory, they'll probably start off by saying, okay, this is the beginning, of the consultation. I'd like you to remember 3 words, pen, tie, and glasses, and then they'll interview you for like 30, 40 minutes, and then there's can you remember the 3 words we talked about at the beginning of the consultation? Because they're trying to remember if your short-term memory is there. Now, if you can't remember that you said, God, what did I say? Pen, tie, glasses. Okay, so he said he remembered, person, man, woman, camera, film camera, something like that. But who knows whether that was the actual questions he was at? Because it sounded to me when he was just making them up. I don't think that was the actual question, because they don't well, in Britain anyway, they don't normally ask you to tell me there were 5 fucking things. In fact, sometimes they just say, can you remember striped tie? It might just be 1 word, because all they're trying to see is what your cognition is like, what your short-term memory, long-term memory is like. How your brain is recording and remembering things. So they might even just ask you 1 question to remember. 1 thing. Right, you just remember striped tie. I mean, it's a 2-word thing, but they might just do that, because it's not that important. It's not a huge important. They're just trying to get a feel for what's going on with you, you know. The fact that Donald Trump made a huge thing out of this was an immediate flag for me. He made a huge thing out of all this bullshit. This fucking total normal test that people will do. You know, if you've been knocked unconscious, right? When the paramedics get you, a lot of the time what they'll do is, what's your name? Can you remember what day it is? Do you know what month it is? Do you know what year it is? You know, do you know where you are? You know what I mean? That sort of thing. They're asking you normal things that if your brain is functioning normally, you should be able to remember, you know. And then they might say to them, okay, my name's John, or Jonathan, or whatever, you know what I mean? And then they'll ask you, like, 10, 15 minutes later, say, can you remember my name? You know what I mean? Do you know who I am? They're just trying to remember if you're taking in information, you know what I mean? So, these are just normal fucking things. People, it's not like they're giving you marks and you're going to get a medal after it. They're just trying to work out whether your fucking brain is working normally. You know what I mean? That's basically it.
That I'll play that game. Okay, so he aced this cognitive impairment test that is supposed to diagnose things like Alzheimer's and things like that. Now, I know some of you have been following the news on a daily basis for a long time.
These tests do not diagnose Alzheimer's or Hodgkin's. They do not. You know, this is not them, you know, using it as something to, you know, tell whether you've got Alzheimer's. These are only testing in the moment whether or not your short-term and long-term memory is working. Because short-term memory is anything, you know, up to like 24 hours, you know. So sometimes, you know, when you come back, you know, you get an appointment, you come back in a week, 2 weeks' time, they will ask you, do you remember me? I was a doctor. And if you say, no, I've never seen you before, they go, okay, so he hasn't remembered or she hasn't remembered anything from my last consultation. You know, you expect people to remember the doctor they seen a week or 2 weeks ago. So they're testing your long-term memory out of that. But these questions about, you know, 20, 30 minutes and then asking you the answer to the question they asked you, you know, at the beginning of the consultation. That's short-term memory. They're just testing, but it doesn't say whether or not you've got Alzheimer's or Hodgkin's disease, because there's many other things that can affect your memory, you know. Even your diet, the alcoholism, drug addiction, all this stuff can affect, and it's got nothing to do with you've got Hodgkin's disease or fucking Alzheimer's, right? So this is why they're just trying to test your cognitive ability to remember short-term and remember long-term memories. That's all it's to do. It doesn't actually, you know, it's got nothing to do with a diagnosis. That comes later when they do all the tests and they find all these other fucking symptoms, you know what I mean? All these other things that flag it up as, yeah, this is what it is, you know? So John I had a lot of whatever his name. He's fucking wrong with this bullshit. Right? Anyway,
Long time, know where this is going, but he is still bragging about testing this, and each time about acing it, and each time the story gets bigger. So now he apparently, while taking it, had multiple doctors around him. Like a scene from a movie where a monkey is getting some sort of, like, weird experimental treatment.
You guys get in here! Donnie's about to break the record! You gotta see this! He's gonna show which one's an antelope!
It's that scene from The Matrix.
He's gonna circle the elephant!
It's like, Neo's fighting Morpheus. Whoa! We gotta see
This can't
him.
be right.
We gotta see
And just,
him.
like, lights going off and, like, meters just spinning.
yeah, it is kind of funny what they're saying. That, you know, Donald Trump. If you listen to Donald Trump over the period of time, it was a doctor, and it was like, you know, a team of doctors, and then it was like a room full of doctors. When people start saying that, it's not that they're geniuses or they're past a test. It's more to do with their unrealistic view of the world in order to portray themselves as you know, superhuman, better than normal. That is the problem with Trump. I mean, he does keep trying to build up, and this is also a case where, why do you think any of the stories about Jesus, written 30 to 70 years after his death, were correct when they've had 30 to 70 years to make shit up? And who's to say that these people, John, Paul, I don't know, Arthur, was there an Arthur in the Bible? I'm very drunk. Okay, John, Luke, Paul, John, Luke, and somebody else, right? Anyway, I've read the Bible probably hundreds of times as well, you know what I mean? No, not the whole Bible, but passages and books that I've read hundreds of times in 59 years. But yeah, when you look at me, it's kind of, it does. The Bible reads just like Trump. People are, they start off saying this happened, and then they add, oh, this happened as well, and then the next bit, oh, well, that happened, and then, they're just adding shit to make him sound like he's a king of, the world, And Trump is doing the same thing. He's doing exactly the same thing. For the last 4 years, Trump has been trying to make himself out as one of these, liquidated, Marvel comic fucking heroes, you know what I mean? And I don't know why 34%, 38% of America believes them. But then, because they're not Marvel readers, are they? No. They're Bible readers, but then the Bible's full of all that shit as well. So yeah, it's not surprising. Human beings, I think we're just programmed to fall into that, to fall and be drawn into those creepy cult religion, ideological, fundamental sort of like little groups, It's funny. Anyway,
I don't know. He's the one.
It gives the image that he is Matt Damoning some equation, but I want to be very clear about the test that he aced, and that in acing, doctors were shocked. Nobody does this. Okay, let's talk about it.
He knows the clock says it's 7:30. He read a clock.
Okay, so those are a few of the highlights. So this is the Montreal Cognitive Aptitude Test. Here's a quick shot of it. And I will say, I understand you can't read the words, probably even on TV, but there's enough there for you to know where this thing is going, I think. So let's zoom in on a few sections. As Brett just mentioned, 3 points, a full 10% of all of the test is whether you can draw a clock. You get 1 point for making the clock a circle. You get 1 point for putting the numbers in the correct order, and 1 more for making the hands different lengths. That's 10% of the whole thing.
Trump. I wonder if Trump draws Mickey Mouse going like this for the like does it? It's like I can't draw Mickey.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, these tests aren't meant to be testing your ability to, like, rebuild a car engine or repair a fucking electric toaster if it burnt out, by just connecting the burnt out wire and so the current goes across it again. It's like, it's not even testing your ability to replace a fuse in a plug, you know what I mean? Which a lot of people, intelligent people, can't do because they've just never done it before. Donald Trump thinks this is a test of his cognitive abilities to be president. It's not. It's just a test of your cognitive abilities to react like a normal human being. That's all this test is. Are you on the normal spectrum of being human? 80% of the human race is going to ace this test. You know what I mean? Ace it. Probably about 10% are going to be under par, and probably 10% are going to be above par. how can you be above parivation? You can actually draw a clock with fucking cuckoos on it and all that, and you'll know actually draw a proper clock and not just a fucking circle with fucking numbers and hands in it. Numbers and hands is normal. If you draw an actual fucking clock with all the fucking detail and all the, you know, the you look at clocks on a mantelpiece and it's got, you know, curlicue, you know, sort of French looking engraving on it. If you've drawn all that and the fucking hand, you're fucking acing that fucking shit, you know what I mean? Right? You didn't just draw a circle and two fucking straight lines and numbers. That's 80% would just draw a circle, numbers in the right place, and fucking two straight lines from the centre out. You know what I mean? If you were drawing, like, you know, shape fucking pointers and you are acing that shit, right? So 10% will do that. They will fucking go into it, you know what I mean?
Or if it's like clock, he just draws like his iPhone.
Exactly. Or just writes the
Square
number.
7.
Yeah. They're gonna have to update this because most people don't do clocks anymore. So would you like to know what another tenth of the entire test is? It's
I would
this.
like to know.
What are these animals?
Just this. Even if you do, it says naming Todd, Kippy, Hornball, like
Mr. Humpy.
And I guarantee, if you were to say that this camel, if you were to say it's a llama, they would probably pass you on it. They'd probably give you a point for saying it's a llama. Because llamas and camels are very, very similar. In fact, I think they even may come from the same family, the same genus, you know what I mean? Not really sure, but I think they do. So, yeah, camels and llamas. So if you said this is a llama, they'd probably give you a point for it anyway. So there we go, Donald Trump aced this.
Humptown races.
He would definitely go with Humptown. That is, we've already covered 1/5 of the entire test. Draw a clock, name a lion. If you've watched The Wizard of Oz, you're most of the way there. Okay, now, repeat after me. I don't mean you, I mean that's the test. Repeat this sentence back to me. I say the sentence, and then you...
Right, repeat. I only know that John is the one to help today. The cat always hid under the couch when dogs were in the room. Fluency. Name maximum numbers of words in 1 minute that begin with the letter F. Maximum number on fuck, fetter, flatter, future, fluff, fandango, fan, fantasia, frack, face, fascia, form, formation, freckle, footinami. No, I got a few, right? And I'm drunk, and I got a few. He probably did it sober, right? Anyway, so...
You say the sentence back at me, and that's almost 10% of the test right there.
And again, we are not mocking people who have any actual medical condition.
Like alcoholism, drug addiction, you know... I don't know. Anyway.
We are simply mocking a man who is the most powerful human in the world. Writing the word camel and then spiking the football. No one's ever named a camel. Who?
Even more
Who's
specific,
ever named a camel?
It is just the spiking of the football. Obviously, this is a necessary test. And people do have cognitive impairment. My grandfather, who I love more than like anything else in the world.
As I told you, my mum has a mental impairment. But I guarantee, if I was to put her through this test, she would be able to tell you what a lion was and what a rhinoceros was and what a camel was. But if you were to ask her, when was the last time you seen a lion, a rhinoceros, or a camel, she would say, I don't know. You know, she would be honest and say, I can't remember. You know, because this is what I'm saying. You know, she has cognitive problems with small memory things, right? But she's not crazy. I mean, Donald Trump she would probably be embarrassed that she couldn't remember as well. Donald Trump fails to remember things, and he is not embarrassed at all. He just goes right over the top. When he misspeaks and says words, he just doubles down and put oh no, that I remember the real word, and he just puts our. So he just adds in the crappy word, and then he says, oh no, and he speaks it, and he just adds them in like they're the same word, and it's like, wow, Donald Trump is fucking nuts, man.
Had severe Alzheimer's at the end. There's literally nothing funny about that. It is a diagnostic tool. And if you don't have those impairments, this test is easy. It's supposed to be easy. That's the whole point. But spending years bragging about it, that is bizarre.
See, this is the thing. I mean, if you're perfectly sober and you can walk a straight line, putting one foot in front of the other, you don't get to the end and go, aced it! Look at that! Nobody's ever fucking walked a straight line before. I mean, do you know what I mean? I've seen people pissed out their nut who can walk that straight line. And that's why you have to do the thing with the fucking nose as well. You know what I mean? Because one test doesn't prove that you're fucking okay. You know what I mean? And then they ask you to stand on one leg and not fucking fall over and stuff, because in the rear thing, you know, that goes on when you're drunk. You know what I mean? So they do lots of these. There's multiple. It's not just walk a straight line. Okay, you've walked a straight line. You must be sober. No, they're like, do this, do that, do that, do this, do that. Okay, you know, count backwards from fucking, you know, the alphabet backwards from Z to E. Oh, that's. By the way, I don't think I could count backwards for Z to A. You know, I don't know if I'm dyslexic or not. Or maybe I just didn't remember the alphabet from A to Z and Z to A. You know, I know the alphabet from A to Z, but from Z to A, I've never done that in my life. Nobody's ever asked me to learn to do that much, so I've never learned it, right? But I know all the letters of the alphabet. I just never learned to read them from A to Z and Z to A. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't like, you know, when I was 15, I was sitting there going, do you know what? I need to read the alphabet from A to Z and Z to A. It wasn't a thing. I was interested in lots of other shit, you know what I mean? I wonder if Donald Trump could repeat the alphabet from Z to A. I wonder if he could repeat the alphabet from A to Z. I'd like to see him just do that. Mr. President, can you recite the alphabet from A to Z, and then from Z to A back? No.
And can I drive home how bizarre?
Yes,
I want to read one more section. This is worth 20% of the entire test. Orientation. Where are you?
I'll be back,
what time
guys.
is it? What's
Right. I'll be back. Right. I've got to point. I've got to go and put food out for my parents. Right. I'll be back. Will you quick? Right. So guys, wait. I'm going to try and quickly blast through this. I've got dinner here. I've got food. Right?
City are you in? Do you know where and when you are in time? The sort of things that you would ask someone who has something like Alzheimer's or some other impairment, just to know, do they know where they're at? That's 20% of the test. He says that when he finished, the many doctors who were around him were shocked that he was able to do this. That is the story. To the extent that there's a story, that is a very weird thing to do even once, let alone for multiple years of your presidency.
But, like, if I were advising Trump, I would tell him to stop bragging about this. Not because it makes him look foolish or silly, painfully silly, but because now he's out of excuses. Like, now we have him on record of being free of any cognitive issues. So he's just an idiot. He's just a moron. That's it. You can't chalk it up to anything, bud. We now know that when you're saying the oranges of whatever, you're just stupid.
When you're passing a test that is designed to find out you're normal, and you're saying, I aced this test that proves I'm normal, it's not proving anything. And when Donald Trump says that, these doctors say they're amazed, nobody's ever done this before. I'm sorry. I mean, almost everybody who's passed that test has passed it the same as Donald Trump. They've been proven not to have any mental dysfunction. Everybody who's passed this test, and I guarantee you that is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the last fucking 20 years have passed this test. And then they have to find out, okay, so something's going on with you, and it's not mental dysfunction, so what else could it be? Now, Donald Trump has aced this test, so he's proven to be normal. So what else have we got to say, well, why is he acting so fucking weird and strange? It's got to come down to cultural. It's got to come down to his inability to feel for other people. It's got to come down to his fascist and dictatorship fucking ideals. And mate, look, why does he love all these fascist, dictatorial leaders around the world, and doesn't like ordinary democratic leaders who can be unelected at any time? I mean, he hates the fact that he's not going to be president for the next fucking 4 years. He's bringing the whole American system. The whole of America has been absolutely, with everything you've written in your constitution, the way you've ran your country for the last 240 years, has all been wrong. It's all been absolutely wrong, because if it was correct, then what's he got to say about losing an election? So he's got to say it's all a big fraud, it's all a big fake, and America for 240 years have been living on a lie. This idea that America was the freest nation in the world has just been a big lie, because otherwise he would be president. You know what I mean? God. Can you understand what's going on? Can you understand what's going on in fucking Donald Trump's head? America, the beautiful, has been the ugliest nation in the world until he got there. And his changes, his attempts to change America have been to try to make it more beautiful, and people rejected it. The American people rejected it, and therefore the American people are wrong. The Constitution is wrong. The way America has been living their lives for 240 years is wrong. He's the one that knows what's right. Can anybody be so wrong? Oh my God.
When you talk about rooms full of people doing this, it's not that you thought that you hallucinated there being rooms full of doctors. It's just that you are such a narcissistic moron that you fantasized, and then as a congenital liar, you a compulsive congenital liar, you just spread this nonsense.
Yeah,
it's amazing to me.
It is amazing, and depressing too, because like his obsession with himself and all of this could theoretically, if he was just a regular weirdo real estate guy, that would be on him hypothetically, and the people he defrauds and doesn't pay and all of that. But we're all paying the price for his self-centeredness, his inability to learn, to grow.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my...
Okay, I'm going to stop here and then upload this, and then I'll do another one later after I eat my dinner. So, you fucking family fuckers, we'll get back on this later. Cheers.